Offset exploded after viral footage showed Stefon Diggs getting physical with Cardi B during a celebrity event that quickly turned tense. While some fans think it was just a misunderstanding during a game, others believe Diggs crossed a serious line. You'll get to decide what you think at the end of this video. On Wednesday, May 13, 2026, Cardi B and Stefon Diggs were caught on video in a heated argument outside a coffee shop and gym in Burtonville, Maryland, near Washington, D.C. The footage first obtained by TMZ shows Cardi visibly upset, yelling at Diggs while he leans back against his sports car with his arms crossed. At one point, a man accompanying Cardi stepped in and placed a hand on her as if trying to calm her down. The audio in the clip is inaudible to viewers, but a source overheard her say that _ is messy. Though it was unclear who she was directing that comment toward, security had to step in and turn away fans who wanted Cardi's autograph. While this was all playing out, the argument lasted at least 10 minutes. What made this footage so jarring was the timing. Less than 4 days earlier, these two were inseparable at a charity event. Looking like everything was back on track. Cardi showed up to support Stefon at his Diggs Deep Foundation's wellness event in D.C., where the two were all over each other, greeting guests together, and sharing what looked like genuine affection. Stefon kissed her on the side of her head, and photos from the event showed them cuddling up like everything between them was solid. Cardi even sent his mother a heartfelt Mother's Day gift, signaling she was fully invested in the reconciliation. Then Wednesday happened. The couple had initially split earlier this year, when Cardi threw serious shade at her baby daddy on social media, and ignored him during his Super Bowl performance. And this latest incident suggested they were right back in that same place. Fans flooded social media with reactions. One person wrote, "Left her husband for this. Can't make it up." Another said, "Trouble in paradise already. This relationship moves faster than NFL trades." But behind the jokes and the memes, there is a much deeper story at work here, and it starts well before this coffee shop. Now, Cardi did respond. She took to X to brush it off. She wrote, "Sometimes I forget I'm a celebrity. Damn, y'all ain't never cuss your baby dad out when you hungry." That one sentence did a lot of heavy lifting to make it sound like this was just a regular couple having a regular disagreement. But the people who have been following this story know there is far more happening beneath the surface. To understand what's really going on, you have to go back to the very beginning of this tangled triangle. And that begins with one man, Offset. Here's the thing. A lot of people either forget, or simply do not know. Cardi B and Offset are still legally married. Their divorce has been winding through the courts since 2024. She filed for it in August of that year after nearly 7 years of marriage, and it has not been finalized. Not even close. The legal proceedings have dragged and stalled and gotten messier with every passing month. Cardi B and Offset share 3 children together. Culture, Wave, and Blossom. That 7-year-old Culture, 4-year-old Wave and Blossom, who was born in September 2024. The sheer logistics of co-parenting 3 kids while publicly dating someone new and navigating a divorce that refuses to end would be overwhelming for anyone. But this isn't just any divorce. This is one where the ex-husband has decided that cooperation is not on his agenda. Since the split, Cardi has blasted Offset as an absentee father online, saying she covers the majority of the staggering 6-figure expenses for their 3 children. She has accused him of not being there for the kids, of not stepping up financially or emotionally, and of making the situation harder than it needs to be. It paints a picture of a woman who is being stretched in every direction, trying to raise a family, maintain a career, tour the world, and build something new with Stefon Diggs, all while her ex is allegedly doing the bare minimum. But Offset's response has not been silenced. Far from it. When Cardi and Stefon Diggs made their relationship Instagram official in the summer of 2025, Offset shaded them, saying their romance was a good rollout in PR for Cardi's album. He dismissed the entire relationship as a marketing strategy, reducing what Cardi has described as genuine love to nothing more than a publicity stunt. And it didn't stop there. He also shared a gif of a man throwing a football with the words, "Today I pass," written on it. A deliberate jab at the NFL player who had stepped into the picture. Diggs, to his credit, fired back quietly. He shared a black and white photo of himself catching a football. No words needed. This was never just a breakup. This was a slow public disintegration of a marriage that on paper still exists. And as long as that piece of paper remains unsigned, Offset has a legal standing in Cardi's life that goes far beyond what an ex-boyfriend would have. That legal reality became the source of one of the most dramatic twists in this entire saga. A moment that changed the dynamic between Cardi, Diggs, and Offset in ways nobody expected. While both Offset and Cardi have traded jabs throughout the divorce, the Migos member did say last August that he was trying to move on. He told the Associated Press it was great while it lasted. That shouldn't be the topic for either one of us no more. It's a book that's closed. But what happened in November 2025 proved that this book was far from closed. In November 2025, Cardi B welcomed a son with Stefon Diggs. The baby, whom they affectionately referred to as Baby Brim, or Baby Touchdown, was a new chapter for both of them. Cardi had announced her pregnancy in September on CBS Mornings and seemed genuinely happy. She said in that interview, "I'm happy. I feel like I'm in a good space. Me and my man are very supportive of each other." It was supposed to be a joyful moment. It was not. Almost immediately after the baby's arrival, Offset allegedly posted an Instagram story that read, "My kid, LOL." A reference to Cardi and Stefon's newborn son. He posted it and then he deleted it, but the internet does not forget. Screenshots circulated everywhere, and the implication was staggering. Offset appeared to be claiming that Cardi's baby, with another man, was actually his. His brother, Speedy, also allegedly posted an Instagram story that read, "My nephew, LOL," adding fuel to a fire that was already raging. Now, Offset's team went into damage control. A spokesperson for Offset told TMZ, "Any statements attributed to Offset circulating on social media are completely fabricated." They claimed the post was fake. They said Cardi responded to misinformation, and the situation escalated unnecessarily, and insisted that Offset has remained supportive of Cardi and genuinely wishes her nothing but the best. Cardi was not buying it. She took to X and wrote, "You'll be thinking it's so funny and it's not. It's been over a year, and I'm still being harassed and threatened to the point that I feel like my life in danger." That's not someone laughing off an Instagram joke. That's someone describing something that feels dangerous. But the "My Kid LOL" post was just the appetizer. The main course came through the courts. Offset officially challenged the paternity of Cardi and Diggs' newborn son by filing a request for a DNA test. This wasn't casual trolling anymore. This was a legal maneuver that forced Cardi to respond in a courtroom. The whole thing was rooted in an obscure, but powerful legal principle. Because Cardi B and Offset are still technically married, the law in certain jurisdictions operates under a presumption of paternity, meaning when a married woman gives birth, her husband is automatically recognized as the legal father, regardless of who the biological father actually is. Offset used this to his advantage, and a judge ultimately denied his request for a DNA test on the newborn in a February 25, 2026 court order. However, the court did grant Offset permission to move forward with a DNA test for another of Cardi's children. The identity of that child remains redacted in public filings. The implications, though, are massive. This legal chaos did exactly what you'd expect it to do to Cardi's relationship with Stefon Diggs. Sources say Diggs became distant following the explosive court revelations, and felt betrayed by the drama surrounding paternity questions. Insiders confirmed he withdrew from public appearances with Cardi, and then right on schedule, the couple split. The pair reportedly split in February, after nearly a year together. At the time, a source told People that Cardi couldn't trust Diggs. A source elaborated to People Cardi pulled away from the drama in February. She didn't trust him and felt like things were going on behind her back. So, here's where the picture becomes clear. Offset's legal filings, his Instagram provocations, and the sheer weight of a divorce that refuses to end all contributed to the fracturing of Cardi and Diggs' relationship. Whether that was intentional, or simply a byproduct of messy circumstances, is a question only the people involved can answer. But Offset is not the only complication in this story. Stefon Diggs was carrying his own baggage, and it was heavy. In early 2026, Diggs was charged with felony strangulation and misdemeanor assault and battery in connection with an alleged December 2025 incident involving his live-in personal chef Jamila Adams. Adams testified that Diggs entered her room at his home in Dedham, Massachusetts, smacked me with an open hand, then wrapped his arm around her neck and choked her. She described a complicated relationship, one that had previously been sexual, but was not at the time of the alleged assault. The charges were serious, the headlines were constant, and the cloud over Diggs grew darker by the day. On the professional side, things deteriorated just as rapidly. The New England Patriots released Diggs in March 2026. He had been a significant investment. His 3-year, $69 million contract was supposed to anchor the franchise, but releasing him saved the team $16.8 million in cap space, and the team moved on. Diggs, despite having recorded 1,300 yards while helping the Patriots reach Super Bowl 60, found himself unsigned and unemployed in the middle of a criminal trial. The trial came on May 5, 2026, and it was swift. The trial lasted only 2 days. The defense argued that no assault ever occurred and that Adams' allegations were financially motivated. A key moment came when Adams was asked whether her lawyer had demanded $5.5 million from Diggs. She refused to answer, and the judge warned her, "This is not an opportunity for you to interject your own narrative. If you continue to do so, your entire testimony may be stricken." The defense attorney told jurors bluntly, "You have not been provided with a single shred of credible evidence to show that any assault happened inside the house that day." The jury deliberated for approximately 90 minutes before acquitting Diggs on all charges. He was found not guilty of both the felony strangulation charge and the misdemeanor assault and battery charge. Diggs was emotional when the verdict was read. Domestic violence is a very, very serious issue in this country, and it's disconcerting when people use it as a sword and manufacture claims in an attempt to extract money. But Adams didn't go quietly. Days after the acquittal, she took to social media posting an emotional video directed at Cardi B. She wrote, "Cardi, you know I didn't lie. You know exactly who he really is. He did it to you." She also claimed she had previously apologized to Cardi for how he treated her during pregnancy. These are serious accusations, and they hung in the air right as Cardi and Diggs were publicly reuniting at that Mother's Day event. This is the context behind that Burtonville coffee shop video. This is what was simmering beneath the surface when Cardi was yelling at Diggs with her arms waving and a bystander trying to calm her down. It wasn't just a spat about hunger. It was the culmination of months of courtroom battles, paternity challenges, an ex-husband who won't sign divorce papers, and a former chef telling the world that the man Cardi is trying to love is not who he says he is. So, where does everything sit as of right now? Cardi and Diggs were giving things another shot. According to a source who told US Weekly, they've been in closer contact lately. Things are no longer contentious. She still has love for Stefon, which makes it difficult to walk away. Another source told People that Diggs stepped it up a few weeks ago and showed her that he wants to make it work. The signs were there. They'd already fueled speculation in April after Diggs was spotted at Cardi's Little Miss Drama tour stop at Capital One Arena. At that show, Cardi jokingly told the crowd, "I might get put on my back tonight." Diggs later appeared at her afterparty, and the two reportedly left together. Then came the Mother's Day event on Saturday, May 9th. Diggs had just been acquitted of all charges earlier that week. His Diggs Deep Foundation hosted a Mother's Day wellness event, and Cardi made a surprise appearance. The two stood in front of a pink background, and Stefon dipped Cardi, kissing her on the cheek. Even after the camera stopped, the two still gave off flirty energy, with Cardi running a hand over Diggs's chest. They greeted every mother at the event and chatted with them for a moment, giving all attendees a meaningful interaction with the two stars. For a brief shining window of time, it looked like these two had finally figured it out. But then 4 days passed and the Burtonville footage dropped and the cycle reset. Meanwhile, Offset is dealing with his own set of issues. He was reportedly injured in a shooting outside a Florida casino on April 6, 2026. And in a twist that surprised nearly everyone, Cardi B reportedly put aside bitterness over the divorce to check on his well-being. That single act tells you everything about the complexity of this situation. She can be furious at the man one day and concerned for his life the next. That's not a clean break. That's a bond that legal documents alone cannot sever. And then there's Tasha K, the blogger who has been inserting herself into this story for years. She was found in civil contempt in her ongoing legal war with Cardi B. After a judge ruled she violated prior court orders, barring her from making remarks about Cardi, Offset, and Stefon Diggs. The court ordered Tasha to pay Cardi's attorney's fees and imposed sanctions on Tasha's bankruptcy lawyer. This came after Cardi was awarded $4 million from Tasha in a defamation battle, and Tasha filed for bankruptcy months later. So, you have Offset lurking in the legal shadows, Tasha K being dragged back to court, a former chef publicly accusing Diggs of things a jury said he didn't do, and now a video of the couple in a full-blown argument just days after they looked like the picture of reconciliation. The truth is, nobody outside of that coffee shop parking lot in Burtonville knows exactly what Cardi B said to Stefon Diggs or why. Maybe she was hungry like she said. Maybe it was about something far more serious. What we do know is that this situation was never going to be simple. There are too many players, too many unresolved legal battles, and too much history for any of this to go smoothly. Cardi and Diggs share a son, who is barely 6 months old. She still shares 3 children and an unfinished marriage with Offset. Diggs is a free agent with no team, and an NFL conduct review still pending. Every single one of these threads is pulling in a different direction. And if the coffee shop footage proved anything, it's that the pressure is building, not fading. Whether Offset goes crazy over this or not, he's already made his impact. The paternity filing, the social media jabs, the divorce that never closes. It all feeds into the instability that follows Cardi and Diggs everywhere they go. And until that divorce is final, until the legal entanglements are severed, and until the public stops getting new footage to pick apart, this story is nowhere near over.